Good morning and welcome back once again to another Talklets conversation. Have you ever said something and someone took what you said the wrong way? Have you ever done something and someone took what you done the wrong way? I mean, it was unintentional, but someone took it and thought it was intentional the way they heard it, the way they seen it. But in reality, you didn't mean it that way. You know, that's what life is like. There's so much that's coming at us that everybody is on an edge. And if you're not careful, you'll say something, you'll do something, and you know, like I say, it's unintentional, but it'll be seen as intentional. I feel that we have made hell look attractive. Now, I want to say that we've done it unintentionally, but I don't know. That kind of bothers me now. I think we know exactly what we're doing. But to me, that's what we've done. We've made hell look attractive. This is going to be one of those conversations that's going to be encouraging if you just stay with me. It's going to be inspiring. It's going to be uplifting because we all need this during this particular season. Have you ever wanted to get into like a nightclub or an event, but you were underage? You didn't meet the requirement, the age requirement, and so you were turned away. That's how life is. Life is full of requirements and rules. I told my son before he went to college that if he's going to drink, because let's be for real, that's what most college students do, that he was going to need to understand the law. I mean, what's the law? I mean, what does the law say about drinking and driving? Let me make this very clear. I don't condone anyone drinking and driving at all. No one. However, I do want my son, my daughters, I want your sons, your daughters to understand that if you're going to drink, you must know your limit. And I told them that if you can drink 2 beers and you're up under the the law, the requirement, that's good. You stop there. You can't have 3. If you drink 1 mixed drink, but you know if you get 2, you're gonna be above the limit, then you can't have 2. You can only have 1 mixed drink. You've got to make sure you understand the law and you discipline yourself to stay within the law. I'm not just talking to my son, I'm talking to you too, because I'm quite sure you drink. But if you're going to drink, you must understand that these DUIs, these DWIs, they're no joke. And you don't want to ever get saddled with one. And so my thing is, then just know the law and obey the law. Every company that you've ever worked for or that you're working for now have rules and regulations and policies. Every school system that your child is attending or you attended had rules and regulations. I went to Disney World one year with my children, and my youngest daughter wanted to get on this certain ride with my 2 oldest children, and she couldn't get on because she didn't meet the height requirement. I told you, everybody has rules and regulations. Most communities have what's called the HOA, Homeowners Association fees, if you will, bylaws that governs the neighborhood. And if you come to my house for a visit and I welcome you, I have rules and regulations in my house as well. And if you break one, I'm going to kick you out. You see, I told you, everybody has requirements, standards, policies, procedures, guidelines that you must follow. And so, what do you think about God? God has some rules. He has some policies. He has some statutes. He has some commandments, 10, by the way, in the Old Testament. And some of you saying Old Testament. Now, I know, I got you. But he also has what we call 2 great commandments in the New Testament, which covers all 10 in the Old Testament. So God has his rules as well. And of course, he has Romans 10 and 9. And for those of you who might have been in a coma for a while, let me just recite that one for you. That if you confess and believe that Jesus Christ is Lord, that God has raised him from the dead, then guess what? You too are now saved. Just that simple. That's it. God has a few rules. Man has a ton of rules. And God wants us to comply with his rules. We're breaking one of those rules by looking at hell as being attractive, or making hell seem attractive to people who are not believers. I mean, that's what's happening right now. And I'm not just putting this on believers, because I'm talking about mankind in general. So let me just give you a quick, if you will, a quick peek into what heaven looks like, and maybe you can understand the difference between the two, because I think some of you are confused. The Bible clearly tells us that Jesus Christ is the way and the truth and the life, and that no one comes to the Father except through his Son, Jesus Christ. You see, the path to heaven is clearly marked by coming through Jesus Christ. And if you want some of this, you got to come through Jesus. So what does heaven look like? Well, heaven is described as being a beautiful place, a place of perfection, a place full of joy, where God's presence is fully experienced. And I don't know who don't want some of that, where the redeemed worships him for an eternity. I mean, that's beautiful. There's no comparison to eternity, none. In the book of Revelations, chapter 21, verse 1 through 27, I will advise you to read the entire passage, as it describes what heaven looks like, descending from heaven, from glory. Verse 4, just a glimpse of some of the information God gives us. In verse 4, it says, he will wipe every tear. This is the elder John, that's on the island of Patmos, giving us the revelation that God gave him. He will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death, or mourning, or crying, or pain, for the old order of things are passed away. That's just beauty all within itself. No more death, no more crying, no more pain. Please. Thank you, Lord. No more mourning, no more grieving, no more sorrow. Verse 18, the walls was made of jasper, and the city of pure gold, as pure as glass. Wow, look at the beauty. Verse 19, the foundation of the city walls were decorated with every kind of precious stone. The first foundation was jasper. The second foundation was sapphire. The third foundation was agate. The fourth foundation was emerald. The fifth was onyx. The sixth foundation was ruby. The seventh foundation was crystalline. The eighth foundation was beryl. The ninth was topaz. The 10th foundation was turquoise. The 11th foundation was jacinth. And the 12th was amethyst. Verse 21. The 12 gates were 12 pearls, each gate made of a single pearl. The great street of the city was of gold, as pure as transparent glass. You see how beautiful that just sounds. Just think how beautiful it is when you see it. This is what believers, Christians, if you will, those of us who have repented, who have believed and confessed that Jesus Christ is Lord, this is what we've signed up for. It's been said that everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die to get there. Sinners and saints alike. And so, since you've had a glimpse, if you will, just a glimpse of what heaven looks like, let me give you some of the descriptions that hell looks like, and what's awaiting you in hell, because we have a tendency to flirt with hell. I mean, all of us, we have a tendency to flirt with sin. Hell has been described as a place that really and truly we can't seem to reconcile, to get our head around, because I think it's just so devastating to us that we just can't believe that there are going to be people who are going to be tormented for eternity. People who are going to be burning, going to suffer, going to be on fire forever. We just can't fathom that. That there are people who are going to be in darkness, yes, for eternity. People who are going to be separated from God's glory, from God's mercy, from God's grace, from God's love for an eternity. I mean, that bothers a lot of us because we just can't see that. We can't fathom that. But that's the truth. That's the truth. That's what's going to happen. Apostle Paul tells us that hell is a place of eternal destruction. And we're trying to make it attractive. Think about that for a moment. I'm going to show you. Just stay with me. I'm going to show you. Matthew tells us that there's darkness. The book of Revelation says that there's a lake of fire that's going to burn forever. There's people going to be tormented in this lake of fire. People going to be tossed into this lake of fire. I don't know about you, but I can swim, but I can't swim being on fire like that. I mean, that's not going to work, and you can't fan it out. Have you ever touched something on the stove and you ouch, well, that's hot. Well, think about putting your hand in the fire and just staying there and letting all the skin burn off of it, everything burn off of it. You can't get the fire off. That's hell. I mean, if you didn't know, now you know. The book of Matthew, chapter 25, verse 41. Listen to me, because you need to hear this. Then he will say to those on his left, depart from me, you who are cursed. Here's this curse that you put on yourself. Into the eternal fire, watch this, prepared for the devil and his angels. Did you catch that? Let me say it again. Then he will say to those on his left, depart from me, you who didn't accept my son, Jesus Christ, your Lord and Savior. Depart from me. You who are cursed, he said, you're cursed now because you didn't adhere, into the eternal fire, prepared, look at this, for the devil and his angels. It wasn't even prepared for you. It wasn't meant for you. It wasn't purpose for you. It was for the devil and his angels. So what are you doing in that fire? What happened to you? Jesus. In the book of Isaiah, chapter 5, verse 14, listen to how this just, oh my gosh, how this falls right in place with what's happening. The prophet says, therefore, hell hath enlarged itself, herself. One translation says she's licking her chops, has enlarged herself, licking her chops, and opened her mouth without measure. I mean, it's wide open. You can't even measure it. It's so big. And their glory and their multitude and their pomp. And he that rejoices shall descend into it. What he's saying is all those who have all that pride and all that ego, all those who have their own ideology, and you didn't accept Jesus Christ, your Lord and Savior, what he's saying is you're going to spend all your days in the eternal fire. And it wasn't even planned for you. It wasn't set up for you. So ask yourself this question. Lucifer, who was trying to overthrow God in heaven, I mean, was he really trying to overthrow God? I mean, just think about it. God is omnipotent, all-powerful. He's omniscient, all-knowing. He's omnipresent. He is every place at the same time. So he knows everything the devil's up to, and the devil knows that. The devil's not dumb. So what was he trying to do? He knew he couldn't overthrow God. So what was he up to? What was his game plan? Let me tell you what I think it was. He was trying to see how many unfaithful, cowardly, angelical beings, angels, would fall with him, would come over to his side, because he wanted someone to rule. And he didn't mind getting kicked out to rule. Wow. Wow. Isn't that something? And here he is now in the garden with Eve, and he's found someone else, another sucker, to run his game on because he wants someone else to worship him. He wants someone else that he rules. And now he's loose, and he's after you and I. And he's trying to run that same game plan. He's trying to find another sucker who will follow him so he can rule over you. He knew he couldn't mess with God, but he has a feeling he can mess with you. And so that's what he's doing. And some of you have fallen for his tactic. As a matter of fact, some of you are just like him. You're at work and you're trying to overthrow your CEO. You don't like your CEO. You don't like your supervisor. You don't like your manager. And so you're trying to overthrow them. So you can't overthrow them, but what you're doing is you're trying to assassinate their character. See, you're falling right into where Satan is. And now you've gathered other people on the team to come over to your side to fight with you. You recruited them. And I'm telling you, you're just on the brink of treason is what you're on. I told you, we made hell look attractive. Now, I'm talking about saved folks. These are saved folks doing all this crazy stuff. That's something, isn't it? The devil knows that hell isn't pretty. He knows that hell isn't attractive at all. I mean, he knows this, but you don't know this. But he knows this. And so what he's done is he's not trying to sell you on, per se, hell. He's selling you on the road to hell. He's made that look attractive. That's what he's done. Yeah. See, through his deception, through his cunning, through his trickery, through his smoking mirrors, through his camouflage. He's disguised the road to hell. He's got it looking like sugar and spice and everything nice, and you're falling for it. Have you ever been to Las Vegas, Nevada? They call it Sin City. If you've ever flown in at night, it's a sight to see. I mean, it's beautiful. All the bright lights. I mean, all the colors of lights is lit up. I mean, it draws you in. And that's what hell is paved with. The road to hell is paved with all these bright lights, all these different gadgets. And you know that going to Las Vegas, you're going to lose more than you win. And so it's not a place you want to be. You don't want to be on that road. It's like going to California. Everybody wants to be a star. I mean, nobody wants to be a saint, but everybody wants to be a star. And it's attractive because we see all those individuals on TV and it just lures us in. Have you ever been to Rio de Janeiro in Brazil? It's where they got all these beautiful beaches, and the beaches are just covered with women who's had all type of surgery and their bodies are just probably banging. I mean, see, that's what hell is paved with. All these beautiful people, men and women, just flesh. I mean, just flesh. You can see the flesh. There's no clothes on. So it's all flesh right in front of you. All your lusts can be fulfilled in this world. This world has everything you want. This world has it. And if it's not thorough, believe me, somebody's going to make it. Because that's what Satan does. Satan has the road to hell looking appeasing, looking attractive. Because he can't get hell to look attractive. So guess what? He's going to get the road, the way to hell to look attractive for all of us. And whatever your lust is, whatever your desire is, believe me, he has it. Yes, he has a big bucket full of it. So just think about it. Let's just make it personal. What do you lust after the most? And see, that's what the road of hell is filled with. It's whatever you lust after. Mine might be money. Yours might be sex. Yours might be greed. I mean, whatever it is, he's got something for you. And then you're supposed to be this witness to individuals who are unbelievers, who needs salvation, who needs to understand the difference between heaven and hell. But here you are, you're indulging in all these things like they are. And so what type of witness, what type of testimony, I mean, what type of light are you? And then we go to the book of Ezekiel. He makes a statement, when I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speak it to warn the wicked from his wicked ways, to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity. Now watch this. But his blood will I require at thine hand. He says, I'm telling you that this wicked person is going to die, and you never go and witness to him about salvation. He says, that blood's going to be counted to your hand. This is what's happening now. As believers, if we're not witnessing to these individuals in this world, these unbelievers, then that blood's going to be counted to our hands because we're running with them with our little holy self, but we have all these unholy conversations. That's what we're doing. Yeah. Oh, we holy, but we have unholy conversations. So we confuse unbelievers. I mean, they're confused. They think they're saved. That blood's going to be required to your hands. When you ask yourself the question, or you ask the question, what's the difference between you and a non-believer? You both go to church. Watch this. You both have the same temperament at work. Y'all buddies. Y'all both go to the same parties. Y'all both gossip. Y'all both spread rumors. I mean, y'all both start them and spread them. Y'all both lie. Y'all both cheat. Oh, you both steal. You both are moody as all outdoors. You both have issues with immorality. You both have fleshly driven ideals. That's it. You both serve other gods. Yes, you do. You both watch porn. You do. You both have sex outside of marriage, before marriage. You both are cussing and fussing. You both get drunk. You both are into nudity. You both have children out of wedlock. I mean, that's who you are. We're told that we should separate ourselves from amongst them. But you've tried every excuse. I mean, you're all out making excuses, and you're trying to preach to God. Well, God, let me tell you, if I don't talk to him, if I don't run with him, who going to teach him about you? Hold up. God ain't hard to find. And what you're doing, I mean, making hell look attractive, God don't need you talking to anyone. As a matter of fact, you might do better just shutting up and just living the life by just walking through and just being an example, but not opening your mouth. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Some of you are talking too much. You're killing. Yeah, you're killing people. You're sending people to hell because of the way you talk. I mean, you talk just like them. You walk like them. And so they think that they're you and you're them. And so they think they're doing the right thing. You're leading them down the road of destruction. I mean, when you look at hell, I mean, the road to hell, it should be a place of darkness, of misery. But we've made that road look attractive with all the things we're doing. You said, Donnie, well, what is that? Well, we made hell look like it's sugar and spice and everything nice because we're sleeping. That's what we're doing. We made the road look like it's paved with strip clubs. You hear me? Prostitution rings, human trafficking, pornography. I mean, look at people on the beach right now. Go to the beach right now. Everybody's out there butt naked. I mean, everybody's got a shoestring on. That's it. Just a shoestring. Both cheeks are showing. And we call that cool. That's a swimsuit. No. That's nudity. That's pornography is what's happening. That's on pornography on steroids on display. That's what that is. Adultery, fornication, whatever the world is doing, whatever your friends are doing, you're doing. Everyone's distracted by money. Everything is about money, money, money. Reality TV, social media. I mean, just look at what we're caught up into. We watch the same movies they watch. We listen to the same music. We're greedy just like them. We want our neighbor's stuff. We cuss out our parents. I mean, come on. We don't honor them. I mean, we live the way we want to live. I mean, we're riding dirty for Christ. When you think about it, that's what we're doing. We're mean and nasty as an old bulldog. I mean, that's what we are. And then we justify evil. The LGBT community, we're running with them. Abortions, we're running with them. Gender identity, we're running with them. Trans, we're running with them. We're just friends of everybody. But we're not witnessing to nobody. And then we have this ideology of flirting with the curse. Your desire shall be contrary to your husband, but he shall rule over you. Women, be careful. Be careful being the enemy within. Don't let Satan pull anything over you ever again. He's already tried to attract you once, in the garden. Don't let him attract you again. He used some dirty tricks, but you're used to him. And so stop falling for him. Men, come on. Your eyes is tied to this flesh. I mean, that lust. I mean, come on. How long do we keep looking at lust, not understanding nothing but dust? It's just dust. So stop lusting for dust. Stop making the road to hell and hell look attractive. We got to be better. We got to be bigger than what we've been. So you have to ask yourself the question, are you helping people or are you hindering people? Are you helping your spouse or are you hindering your spouse? As it comes to their walk with Jesus Christ, you have to answer that question. Are you holy or hellish? I mean, which one are you right at this moment? You see, we're living in a modern time, if you will, where there's a limitation on churches, if you will, to preach about the devil and about hell. No one wants to hear it. Everyone wants to hear all this frou-frou stuff. But people are being taught. I pray it's unintentionally. But we're teaching that heaven is an option, like hell is an alternative. I mean, that's what we're teaching. And if we're not careful, wow, we're teaching choices. There is no choice. It's just one way, and it's Jesus. I'm telling you, there is no options. I know you said, well, Donnie, I do have it. No, there is no option. I mean, let's just sell that right now. There's just one way. That's it. Ain't no choices. It's just one way, and it's heaven. I pray that you understand that what you're teaching your friends and your family, because you're staying so close to the edge, that blood is going to be accounted to you. You know what some of you are saying? You're saying that heaven is a place that you can wait for, but hell is a place you can enjoy right now. And you got time. No, you don't know that. No, you don't know that. I told you. If you get on that road that looks so attractive, it's hard to get off. I just pray you have enough common sense to confess that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God has raised him from the dead so that you can also be saved. Don't let these Christians, these believers who are struggling in their walk with Jesus Christ, don't let them pull you away from what you're walking into, because some of you are walking into the church and you mean well. And realize that you can't trust everybody in that church, because some people are not as healthy as they need to be. And so I just pray that you realize that that blood, yeah, your blood, it needs to be accounted to you as you get yourself, you crawl yourself up to the altar and you give yourself, your life to Jesus Christ. Stop waiting on the person next to you who's struggling themselves because they see hell as being attractive. You go ahead on with your bad self and understand that heaven is all you need, and you'll be blessed.